I'm Spencer.
And I'm Spencer.
And I'm Spencer.
And that's Justin.
And this is Spencer's Itch.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, this is our first episode here on our new podcast where we all get together and we each bring a subject to the table and we talk about it. Could you believe that?
It's questions.
Revolutionary.
We get to ask each other questions that we're too shy to ask in person.
Yeah.
Because we're socially awkward.
Yeah, that's what gamers are.
Yeah.
It's a proven fact. So, we're all here to talk about one topic that involves video games somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Before we get started, and also it should be noted that we're also on Twitch, so feel free to join us and ask us little questions or make your own little snide comments about us. Maybe about Justin's...
Twitch.tv/thisistheitch.
That's right. Maybe it's Justin's weird dog face.
What? I have a weird dog face.
Profile picture.
That's your Skype picture.
Oh.
You almost thought I was insulting you.
Well, I don't have a dog face for the rec.
You have the face of a normal human being.
I'm,
Alright, so before we get started, Justin, what are you playing lately?
Come on, guys.
Alright, Eric, what are you playing lately?
Eddie James from Domino's Pizza.
Oh, hey, Eric, you're not supposed to be on anything else.
Yeah, Eric gave us a long conversation about how we need to be on nothing else. And I'm pretty sure we just caught him
loading up the Twitch chat.
We just caught him trying to order a pizza.
Where are my Domino's?
Where are my Domino's?
So what games have I been playing?
Yeah.
I've been trying to play Final Fantasy XIV and Destiny, and have been unsuccessful this week.
Word?
Yeah, I haven't played since like Tuesday.
Gotcha. You just had a hard time turning on the power, or?
Yeah, I did not have the power.
Gotcha.
Right. Auxiliary? What's that for?
Yeah. Alright, Justin, what have you been playing lately?
I've been on Final Fantasy too much. Final
Fantasy 14? Heaven's Ward?
So much, yes. So much so that's been affecting my relationship with my girlfriend. She's like, are you done? No, I'm kidding. Love you.
Are you done yet?
Yeah.
She says that in other events.
No,
yeah. She sends a mean emote.
Right. It's a sad face, and she's like,
Me.
She went ahead. She's been dealing with me, so God bless her.
Yeah.
But I've been on Heaven's Ward like so much. I got to play Battlefield last night with Matt, a friend of mine, but
Hardline?
other than that, yeah, I was playing Hardline. But after that, I was like, see you later. Because if it ain't Final Fantasy, it ain't that Hennessy. Okay, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I've seen you play video games. You like shotgun between like 3 or 4 different video games at a time. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Justin? Or Eric? Remember when he was over and he like put in like 3 different video games and was just shooting between them?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I think, and there were like 3 completely different games, like Final Fantasy 14, Battlefield Hardlines, and I think Metal Gear Solid Revengeance.
Oh, I was on Ground Zeroes. I was playing the Revengeance mission. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is fun. All right, anyway. I just went back to something else. Well, there wasn't really anything to do in Final Fantasy. So before the expansion, everyone's just like, why even bother playing? And I was like, yeah, I agree. But when Heaven's Ward dropped, the economy took a dump. Everything's being sold for like outrageous, ludicrous prices, and
very cool.
Materia is cheap. So yeah.
Awesome, man.
What have you been playing?
Me.
League of Legends.
Yeah, so I was just playing a little bit of League of Legends earlier. It was like I had a great time with some friends. We had a wonderful time. I just finished.
Wait. I think he's lying.
No, I'm not.
You mentioned friends.
Oh, come on, that's harsh. Okay, I'll rephrase. I was playing by myself and having a great time and drinking.
I can believe this story.
Oh, you been drinking?
No, I wasn't drinking.
Oh, I've been drinking.
But I was playing. I also finished Batman recently, Arkham Knight. You can check out our review of it. I thought it was. Thought it was okay. Apparently, nobody else likes the review because there's a lot of downvotes.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
well, I was actually, not to get up too far into that, but I think it's just simply because the person reviewing it doesn't care for comics. And side quests, and that's pretty much what that game was about.
That could be it.
Your scapegoat. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. At least I'm honest. I would never be dishonest. So I was playing that, and I guess I want to move into. I'm playing Final Fantasy IX right now, but I wanted to also do some even more like NES style games, just to get every the whole
Sword of
spectrum.
Mana. Wow.
That's SNES.
Okay, well, it's NES is in it.
Yes, you're right.
So I don't want to hear it.
All right, so we got the introductions out of the way. I figured we'd get started. Eric, you want to go first?
Sure. So, 15 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
My question for you two is...
Oh, you know what you should do, Spencer? You should get an actual timer to put up there so people can see that.
Anybody have a quick... Oh, you know what? I can wait because I have the clock right here.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So, my question is, does a video game franchise need to evolve to sell?
No.
So I'll jump into this and give a little more background to where I came up with this thought.
Okay.
Specifically, I was looking at Crash Bandicoot. I was talking to my brother about this. And I've talked to a couple people about this recently. But basically, one of the reasons, I found an article stating the reason that Crash Bandicoot stopped being made was because the fans were requesting for it to be updated, for the play style to evolve and for it to change. And Naughty Dog tried to change it, and they made some different things. They sold it to different people. They tried different game styles and stuff, and it flopped because they changed too much of the core game. It just flopped. And I don't believe that a video game needs to change, to evolve, to
keep being successful.
To keep being successful. I think if people bought it and played it, and then they bought the second one you made because it was the same formula, then you should just stick with that formula and just enhance some of the features in it. Like, things that people love, just improve that, and then add those other things that you want to try, and see what the community says.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a good example that I would use, actually, is Street Fighter. So, when you go from Street Fighter 2, because not too many people played Street Fighter 1, but when you go into Street Fighter 2, right, you have your basic combos, which are really limited combos. A lot of the combos are there because the developers wanted them there. But say you advance to like Street Fighter Alpha, okay, there's more combos, there's more developed stuff. Like they'll have things like, and I know this stuff is foreign to you guys, but they'll have things like alpha countering. They'll have the ISM system.
It's like
and
you're
then you
speaking a completely different language. Like
it's
I
okay,
just can't
man.
even. Like I'm still working on the wheel. Like how does that get from point A to point B? You know?
Right. So it just keeps rolling. It
Yeah.
doesn't stop. So you have that, and then you go into Street Fighter 3, and they have the parry system. Not only did they completely drop a lot of the systems from Alpha, but when you go from Street Fighter 3, and I'm talking Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, if you go from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike into Street Fighter 4, you don't have a parry system anymore. You don't have, for the first part of Street Fighter 4, you didn't have the ability to choose actually you couldn't choose your supers. You could choose your ultras, but not your super. Now you have the ability of using two different like special moves. So, but all of those games sold well. Street Fighter, 3 being the least sold because it was super hardcore. But what it essentially amounted to was it was just sprucing up a simple concept, 1v1 fighting. But instead they're like, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to add a parry system. So where if someone punches you and you hit forward at the right time, it's a risk, but you have a chance of, walking away with a frame advantage, which again doesn't mean much to you guys, but anyone who's played fighting games, yeah, so it works out.
Well, my question for that is, how far could Street Fighter even stray? because like with Crash Bandicoot, it has the ability to do a lot of different things. Like it could move from like a straight regular A to B kind of game to an open world kind of game, and that's a huge change. But for Street Fighter, like how grand could they possibly change it? Like they wouldn't go to a Street Fighter party game or something like that.
Street Fighter Skyrim first person.
It's funny you mentioned that. There actually was essentially a party game for Street Fighter. Well, one there was Puzzle Fighter, which was just Tetris at the end of the day, but they used the Street Fighter and a lot of other different characters. And then there was Pocket Fighter, which utilized, it's a fighting game, but like if you beat people up, they drop like orbs, or not orbs, little crystals. And some crystals, like if they're red, they give you an attack bonus. If they're yellow, they give you a speed bonus. So it's like Children of the Atom, for anyone who's ever played that, where you can use these special little things to like kind of power up your character a little bit. And then also there was the EX series, which was 3D, and then you can have 2v2s on it, or 3v1, which was just insane. But you could do stuff like that. So I mean, as much as it developed enough to still remain within the genre, because we're not really talking about breaking genres too much. We're talking about a game itself that is, if it innovates, it's still keeping within its genre, or if it evolves, it's still keeping within its genre. It's just adding more stuff.
Yeah.
But good.
Something that just crossed my mind right now. Call of Duty did this, where they kept the core game, but then they added Nazi vs. Zombies as like a fun little bonus, and that blew up to the point where it was almost the reason I purchased the following Call of Duty game was because I wanted the next Nazi Zombies, not because I wanted the online multiplayer.
Well, one thing that comes to mind immediately, and obviously we've talked about this, Eric, but is Mario. So Super Mario. Justin, it's not that exciting, right? But so Super Mario is a game that hasn't, really evolved past the idea of you have to get from A to B in a level. How do you do it? Through jumping and stepping on turtles and all that kind of good stuff. But you can see that the game has ventured out to varying levels of success. So they had Mario 64, which is a necessary evolution, which did amazing, and that was absolutely phenomenal, and to this day still has impacted games, not just in the Mario series, but in every series. And then they have other offshoots that didn't go so well, like Super Mario Sunshine is generally considered one of the weaker of the group.
I love that game.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, but as a critical acclaim and not critical, but like gross sales and everything like that, it was considered one of the weaker. And then they had Mario Galaxy, which I think is generally considered really good. So it's things like that.
Fun.
What's that?
Mario Galaxy?
Yeah. It was a good game, and it was different. It was definitely a different way that they've done it. Granted, it's all jumping and platforming, but Galaxy took it to a strange level.
But on the other side of that, they've had their I don't want to call them evolutions, but trials that they've tried. They're new forms, but they still, to this day, are releasing the same old Mario 2D scroller running across the screen, just with better graphics.
Right.
And people are buying it.
And that's the brilliant thing, is that Nintendo has and very few companies do, but companies with a whole lot of money and can do this, can do both, which is amazing. Like they can do games that innovate, and then do games that's like, well, the old fans want this, so let's make that. And there you go. So and the fact that we can see that those old games are still selling so well tells me that no, a game does not need to consistently innovate past just little minor enhancements to be successful.
So at what point is it worth branching out? Like I think Call of Duty did it the safe way, where they still provided you the same game, but they added this little mini game at the end of it, where you could go shoot zombies, and then that blew up and became a big deal. So then next time they developed a game, they made it a bigger deal, but they still didn't lose their roots. But then you look at like Crash Bandicoot, it went really weird.
Crash Team Racing, yeah.
Well, Crash Team Racing was fun, and especially like Mario Kart did it as well, and Diddy Kong Racing, but really like the like Crash Bandicoot, it did go 64 style, like Mario 64.
Yeah.
But it also like added these weird mechanics and to it, like the Titan one. I can't remember what that one was called.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, like it just you required this beast that you had to ride around on, and it's like you're not playing Crash at that point. You're playing some other thing. So, and that was the entire game. It wasn't like a mode on top of it. That was the game.
I think what it kind of boils down to is if you have a formula, the best you can do is tweak it slightly, and that may sound like terrible, like oh, they're not being creative, but too many good ideas can lead to a bad game. It just happens. If you're like, oh, I want them to do this, it's good, it's a good idea, or I want them like, okay, so seeing as how we're talking about evolve, let's talk about or evolution. Let's talk about evolve. Okay, 4v1, right?
Yeah.
The whole concept's great. You got your buddies with you. You're attacking all these monsters. Game's not going to interest everybody, or even like half the people. Which I mean, Spencer included. It wasn't that like crazy of a game when you break it down. It's a simple formula. This formula in itself has to have a bit of like, as you say, longevity and challenge the player. And a good example of that, of slightly tweaking that, is look at Mega Man. Then look at Mega Man X. Then look at Mega Man Zero. There's slight tweaks. Mega Man X and Zero are more like to each other, sure, granted. But Mega Man and Mega Man X, there's very slight things. There's a dash button. You know, they both have wall hops. Mega Man X is treated more action-y oriented, I'd feel, than actual Mega Man. Mega Man's that you're straight up like you're Galaga. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
What Mega Man X is like, oh man, there's some bumping music and you're dashing. These is where speedruns are done, son. You know?
Sing it, Eric.
And but that slight change revitalized a concept. And then now look at that. Now you have two different forms of the same game, of the same character. If you play one, it's not the same as playing the other.
You know what I actually think about this, and it's kind of a weird thing to say, but you know how fans always tell you what they want from a game? Like, they're always like, oh, I wish it had this, and this.
And now they're never right.
I think one of the best things to do is not listen to any of that.
You're right.
Be very selective about what you take from fans, because half the time, fans don't really know what they want, which is a really painful thing to say. It's really hard to say that, but in the end, a game developer who made a successful game, in the end, when a game developer makes a successful game on their own, they get it down. They really should decide, like, what did we do that we really enjoy, and then let's enhance that. The gamers are going to all have their opinion on it, and they're going to throw it in there, like. But I mean, honestly, games, especially in the olden days, games were made by adults, semi-adults, and the people that were playing them were kids. And could you imagine actually listening to those kids? If people actually listen to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, we should put like a dinosaur in this game." Like,
right.
sorry, Mario, but like just like weird things that like that.
Well, they called him Yoshi, so
yeah.
Well, so I definitely agree that I think that developers do listen to fans a little too much, but at the same time, it is nice to be heard, and definitely if there's enough community uproar, such as the most recent Metroid
don't get me
Federation
started.
Force, and also the most recent Destiny expansion content, hearing from the community is definitely going to help you out. I definitely think that, like in World of Warcraft, when the community would rage about a certain class or features that a certain class has, it would raise awareness for the developer then to go look at it and be like, did we make this a little too strong? And it gives them a heads up. But yes, they shouldn't jump the gun and just be like, oh, they don't like this. Let's take this kid's idea and go run with it. It should be tested and looked into.
Just take that player feedback and just put it into that developer perspective.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And also at the same time, and if they're providing feedback saying this is how you can improve this feature, definitely take it. But if they're saying add dancing dinosaurs to this game, and that's when I'll love it. And it's like, well, the game was about unicorns. Dinosaurs had no part in this video game.
Clearly.
Yeah, like...
Where's your diploma on unicorns?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as long as the feedback's relevant to the game and it's not outlandish and from nowhere, I can see like, hey, my heroic strike ability hits, or I'm crushing people, I'm two-shotting people. That ability shouldn't be doing that.
I think another example could also be Sonic, of a negative where they had a good thing going. They had a solid side-scroller platformer. Great.
Mm-hmm.
They moved to 3D, and I guess for whatever reason, maybe they were trying to mimic other people that were being successful at the time. I'm not really sure. You guys played it more than I did, but they lost it. They jumped off the railing, and they're not the same game anymore.
It's the funny thing, or it's a funny thing that you mentioned that, because they lost it, found it again, and then lost it. So they had it, right, up to Sonic 3. Sonic 3 Knuckles, all that stuff. Amazing games, right? Sonic 1, 2, and 3. And then they go, all right, well, we're going to do Sonic 3D Blast, which, okay, isometric. It's not really about speed anymore, but who cares, right? One strike. You guys are fine. It wasn't the best. Then I forgot what came. I think it was Sonic CD, or Sonic CD came during that time. Whatever. Sonic CD was amazing. And then they go, okay, we're going to do Sonic Adventure. Holy shit, why does Sonic have a voice? And then after the whole adventure phase, they're like, let's do Sonic Advance, which Sonic Advance 1 and 2 are amazing games. And then they're like, all right, well, let's do Sonic Battle. What the hell? It's a don't get me wrong, that's a fun game, but that is not Sonic at all. And they had it and lost it. They're the kid that keeps like getting back up, has no skill in like skateboarding, but keeps trying, gets his balls crushed every single time. You can't help but respect him, but at the same time, you're like, you're just going to hurt yourself again.
Yeah.
You know?
You're describing my skateboard experience.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't mine.
Eric cannot have children anymore for all the balls crushing.
Oh, he cannot.
But developers...
So if you say that you have one of mine, good luck proving that.
You don't know that I have no testicles.
Right? I'm a eunuch. No, anyway, which is worse. But anyway, if anyone's a eunuch, sorry. But seriously though, the problem,
eunuch audience.
The problem with people is, with developers, I think, is a lot of them think that they can't do any wrong. In the case of like Sega, for instance, when they try and innovate or they evolve or change something, whatever the case is, it turns into like, all right, let's change the entire genre. This is a good idea.
They're like changing the style and not features.
That's a problem. Completely a problem. That's why when you compare Metal Gear Solid to Metal Gear Solid 5, right? Two completely different games. But there's a series of progression there. You know, between 1 and 2, between 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5. There's 4 and Peace Walker, and then Peace Walker and 5. There's level of progression there. And games just like to go from MGS 1 to 5, and they're like, we're being innovative. Not all the time. I mean, like, some ideas are just bad. You can't put Mario on everything and expect it to sell. Does anyone remember what Mario Strikers? Some people say that was amazing. Some people hate it. It's polarizing. For anyone that doesn't know, I believe it's the soccer game.
Yeah.
The Mario soccer game. And then there was a Mario baseball, was there not?
Mario Baseball, Mario Tennis.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Mario Tennis was the one that actually sold. Mario Golf.
That was fun, too. That was fun.
If you're drunk. No, I'm kidding. But the point is that ideas are just bad. And when it comes to, like, evolving or something like that, it's up to a good developer to be able to be like, to critically think and go, this is a good idea in the direction we're going. Or, hey, let's stay the course. We can push out another, sequel that people are going to love if we don't change too much.
Eric, were you on the timer?
Yep. Ding, 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 ding.
Very cool. So awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Sonic. What happened to you?
He's in rehab right now. We're hoping the best.
Cool.
All that speed he was on.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast, yeah.
All right.
I gotta go fast. I gotta go fast.
Oh, God.
So, I guess are you good with me going with the next topic?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, I think today specifically was a bit of a stretch for me for food because the wife was out gallivanting around town with her friends, as she's wont to do.
She just struts.
Yeah, strutting around. So I had to fend for myself, and I managed to have pizza that's probably over a week old in the refrigerator, and some rice from a Chinese food place we ate at last night.
Oh, God.
So I wanted to ask you guys, and that's not necessarily terribly weird, but I want to ask you guys what the weirdest things you guys have ever eaten while playing video games is. Ready, go. You guys go first.
Okay. So when I was a kid, my dad used to be a sort of like ramen enthusiast, and he used to be like, I used to feel like proud about like cooking and stuff. So he's like, "Oh, hey, can you make me some good ramen?" I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And he's like, "All right, you got to put it in the works, I'm like, "Oh, what do you want?" He's like, "All right, put some tuna in there." He's like, "Put some eggs in there, put some sour cream, put some cheese, put some hot sauce, all this other stuff, which, according to my girlfriend, is just disgusting." And he'll be like, and there was one other thing which,
according to everybody, I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, we're gonna take a poll on this.
One thing that I never put in that to this day that I don't put in that he likes, was mushrooms, chopped up mushrooms, diced mushrooms.
That's where you drew the line.
Flavor. Yeah, I was
mushrooms,
like, no.
Yeah, sour cream, fine. Mushrooms, no.
Hey, the sour cream.
I've never had
really
mushrooms in any kind of soup I've ever had.
Yeah. No cream of mushroom. That just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, who creams with mushrooms? So anyway, I pretty much mushroom tip. Yeah, so I pretty much I used to make that stuff, and eventually I started eating it. I was like, oh, this stuff is great, and there were a couple other foods too, but sort of like normal. That one's a little off the wall. But yeah.
All right. Well, I think this one tops it. So the weirdest thing that I've ever eaten while prioritizing gaming over my diet would have to be McDonald's.
Okay. Oh, dude, how could you put that in your body?
Yeah, I was in a rush. I needed something hot. I thought I could
There's
get away
hookers on 3rd Street.
No, it's like the funny thing is that you're like, oh, I'm gaining time by picking up this McDonald's, but then like an hour into it, you got to run away from the game just all of a sudden, and you're missing out like 20-30 minutes because you chose to have McDonald's. When that 20-30 minutes, you'd miss out still if you made your own meal. Pretty sure I can cook ramen with sour cream and mushrooms in less time than that.
Yeah, and you had to just go there and basically eat rat poison is what you did.
Yeah.
I hope you're ashamed of yourself.
I don't live with much shame, but that is up there as like my top 3. The second one was Jack in the Box.
Oh.
Third one.
Right there with you.
Third one was this CVS sushi.
CVS sushi. What's that?
Yeah, it's like Walgreens, like a Walgreens pharmacy that had sushi, like boxed up sushi. You could just go in and grab out of their cooler section.
Amazing, dude.
But
that sounds like
what?
That just sounds like you'd be destroying your innards by eating that.
I will say that the McDonald's and the Jack in the Box messed me up more than the CVS pharmacy sushi.
Oh God, dude,
that's bizarre. I remember when I was unemployed, I used to have a concoction that I've told you guys about, but I would go to Quick Trip and get those little taco thingies. You could like a little Mexican taquito thing, and I get those. Yeah, I'm Hispanic. I know how to say it. So we'd get that, and then I would get a whole big like container, 32 ounce or whatever, of tea, peach tea, and then I would take it home, and then I would put my mom's vodka in it, and turn on Dragon Quest VIII and just drink until the sun went down, basically.
And munch on those taquitos.
Yes, those delicious taquitos. So,
QT. How do you say QT in a Mexican accent? QT, man. You gotta add an extra word. He burns. Get it?
Yeah.
So that was one of my weirdest things. Another weird thing I did, I guess, was also when I was unemployed. I was playing World of Warcraft at the time, and I'd take my laptop into the bathroom and eat nachos that I made. The nachos would be just put a bunch of chips on a plate, put cheese on it, put it in the microwave, put some paste picante sauce on it, and then just go to the bathroom and eat it.
So you were preemptively aware of the strike that was about to happen, but you couldn't. You had to take care of gaming at the same time.
Yes.
You prepped yourself.
Absolutely.
What is that called? Can time or something?
Being preemptive?
Pre-gaming.
Pre-game. No, it's like when people take their laptops into the bathroom, it's like can time or.
I didn't know there was a term for that.
There is, because it's actually pretty common. It's just people don't admit it.
Everyone just said that my echo was fantastic. They're just like
echo?
The acoustics in your room are amazing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was great.
Keep it going. I know me. I have a terrible on-screen addiction to eggnog because it's too good. When it hits like end of October, which is like right after my birthday, and I'm like, feeling myself, and I'm like, oh hey, what am I gonna eat? And then it dawns on me, oh, eggnog.
You're gonna eat eggnog.
Eat it?
I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it. And let me tell you why. Because when I was a kid, and sometimes as an adult, while I fight back tears,
sometimes now,
yeah, I would pour a bowl, not a bowl. I would pour me a cup of good old eggnog, right? Sometimes pumpkin spice, because it's very nice. I've never had vanilla.
Because you're a 22-year-old girl.
Hey,
woman. Sorry, you're a woman.
Pumpkin late. It's a pumpkin late.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would take like bread and dip it in the eggnog, and then eat the bread and be like, and just like go to town on that. And I mean, I'm lactose intolerant. Well, everyone is, but I'm super lactose intolerant. So, or more than the average man. So I would have the runs.
The average woman.
Like, yeah, and could not. You're an asshole. I could not go anywhere that day. I pretty much isolated myself to the house or whatever. I've had it with rum before. Never doing that ever again. I've had it with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which is actually really good.
Wait, so you put it on like in the sandwich?
You like
no,
you drizzle it on like
salsa
or like dressing.
That stuff is not that. It's
wait, you dip it like a French dip sandwich?
Yes, you dip it. So and then
that's disgusting.
I've done it with a donut before. Like I just add sweets on sweets.
So all right. So here's when I'm hearing eggnog. All I'm thinking of is like cinnamon, sweet, creamy toast, which makes me think of like buttered French toast. Does it taste anything like French toast?
No, it's very sweet.
Okay.
But you use
French toast has a sense of like, yeah, it's toast, or it's sweet, but it also has that kind of slightly savory taste to it. Unless you get out of like a microwave packet or something, it's gonna have a little bit of like savoriness to it. But you eggnog is purely sweet.
You said you dip your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in it? In eggnog?
I haven't always done that. Relax. I have not.
How many times have you done that?
When was the last time you've done that?
Like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Because I had a really bad year.
Does your current girlfriend, is she aware of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, she saw it. She's seen it. And she's like, oh my God.
And she didn't leave? That's a keeper right there.
We're still together.
You've found yourself a winner.
Right. She's like, oh my God, what have I done? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd call the authorities for me.
At this point, I mean, anything
thanks.
that
We're
she
not
cooks.
dating.
At this point, anything she cooks, she's like, well, it won't be the worst thing you ever had.
Yeah.
Right, mother.
But on the flip side of that, so one thing that's funny is that so let's say that she does cook something and you don't like it, like on a scale from 10 to dipping peanut butter and jelly sandwiches into eggnog, where does this fit? Oh, below that? Oh God. What have I done?
She'll cook something, get mad, and she'll be like, "You don't want it? Why don't you go eat some eggnog?"
Yeah. That is intense.
I hope
you come home to dinner and it's just a package of ramen and sour cream.
Oh no! Hold on. Did you ever dip the ramen into the eggnog?
No, I've got standards. Okay?
Well, it's very. Excuse us.
please.
It's very confusing to know where those lines are drawn.
Yeah.
Yo, I said sweet with sweets. Okay, I didn't like bread can be sweet. You can have sweet bread. Okay.
This is a culinary episode right here.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't have like this stuff come out of nowhere. Like I was eating I think I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when I discovered the eggnog thing, and I was like, "Hey, let's beat the middleman."
No, don't beat the middleman. The middleman's there for a reason.
Drink. Let's just dip it and eat it.
The middleman is standing between decency and madness. You need to accept him into your life.
The middleman is my intestines getting just destroyed.
That's the last man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Last stand.
You guys know
actually,
I have a really sensitive stomach, so
recently I actually just thought of something. I didn't realize it was kind of weird when I thought about it, but so I was at home. It was the in between paychecks, so I was trying to like, what can I make? And I had peanut butter bread, and I was like, man, I don't want a peanut butter sandwich. Like I need something. How can I spice this up a bit? And I went, spice this up a bit.
Oh no.
I was like, you know what I can do? I can throw jalapenos in this thing.
Ew.
I was like, give my peanut butter some kick, because like you've seen like the jalapeno and habanero jams and jellies and stuff, and I'm like, jalapenos just make everything.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
And you haven't?
No.
Where do you shop at? Hell? Like,
you can get it at like Safeway and stuff.
Hell, okay, all right.
Food stores and whatnot, but so I'm sitting there, I'm like, peanut butter, jalapeno peanut butter. This sounds fucking amazing. It's that sweet, spicy kind of thing. I didn't have any jalapenos. Well, I'm sorry. I did have jalapenos, but I didn't have a can opener. And I was really hungry, so I didn't want to go outside and beat it on a rock or anything to open it.
Oh my God.
So I had jalapeno potato chips, like kennel cooked potato chips. So I stuffed those inside my peanut butter sandwich and made it crunchy. God. And you know what it was like? It was like crunch, because I have creamy peanut butter, but I put the potato chips in there, so it made it like crunchy peanut butter, but it had that spicy jalapeno taste. It was pretty damn good.
So there's
I will say so.
There's no offense implied here, but that sounds like you just kind of sounded like a caveman for a second there. When you said that you didn't have a can opener, you didn't want to have to go outside and hit it with a rock to get it open. It sounds like you've done this before and multiple times.
I know we're running close on time here, but yes, I have. And I had a very important date coming over that night, and I didn't have time to go run to the store to get a can opener. I just had to improvise.
God. Holy shit.
And she's actually listening. She'll know exactly what it was, because she commented on the can and how fucked up it looked. I had the can. It was holding all like the stems and stuff from all the vegetables and stuff I was cooking. It had all the stems in it, and I just had it set up on the side. And she was like, "What happened to this can?" I was like, "Oh, I dropped it."
Nothing.
Like 50 times into a rock.
Yeah. You know, like it'd be like an infomercial. It'd be an infomercial for a can opener, like back in the 80s or 70s or whenever a can opener started. They'd be like,
we should make an official The Itch can opener.
Yeah, we should. And the infomercial would have said like, tired of banging your cans open with a rock because they made cans before they made can openers. And then just has a picture of a guy doing this and looks like wiping a bead of sweat off his forehead.
Yeah, it's like Eric, and he's like, you know what? You're right.
I got a hot date tonight. What do I do?
I'm getting all sweaty in this Arizona heat.
Yeah. Worry no more.
The can is cooking
as
I'm trying to open it up.
Yeah.
It's actually a really cool feature, actually. The can cooking while you're trying to open it.
We're giving them ideas now.
Save time.
Easiest way to burn down the house.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just meant like leave it on the curb in Arizona at 120 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And then while I'm trying to open it, the sun will cook it.
You just lead this weird life that just kind of scares me.
I'm privileged to be a part of.
Well, that basically wraps up that segment. On that note.
Yep.
All right. So I was thinking about this one a little bit, and I kind of sort of may have had a dream a while ago. So I wanted to ask you guys, what was the most what's your drunkest story with playing video games? Like, you got nothing to do, everyone's back at, everyone's at the club, and you're like, I don't want to go, or hey, I'm broke, or whatever. What was the most, the drunkest, most whatever thing that you've ever done in your life?
Is it, with video games?
Yes.
So is this your question, or is this your segment?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
You want me to lead? You want me to set the tone?
I want to hear Farmers.
Okay.
Because I know that he's had multiple, so we can go back to him. But yeah, I know you had a couple.
Drunkest. So I'm guessing the first one I can talk about. One of my buddies. I was out with a bunch of my friends. We're all drinking and stuff, and his house was really close to where we were. And I called him up, and he's like wide awake, and it was like 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock or something like that. And I'm like, dude, why are you awake? And it seemed weird for him to be awake. And he's like, dude, it's the midnight release of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. And I was like, okay, well, are you going to be home in like 30 minutes? I need a place to crash. And he's like, no, dude, come up here and stand in line with me. And I'm like, for what? Why the fuck would I stand in a midnight release for a game I don't give a shit about? I had nothing better to do, so I went. So I'm standing in line, and there's like 4 people in line. We get the game, we go home, and he's so tired that he passes out. But he's been a dick all night, like just giving me shit all night. I continued to drink, and I beat his game and paused it at the ending cutscene of like, hey, you beat the game, this is what's happening. And I paused it at that scene and left. So when he woke up the next morning and unpaused the game, he saw the ending to the game. It's probably the most fucked up thing I've ever done.
You're like, I'm kind of a dick. Just a little bit.
So that also answers our douchiest moments of video game question. That'll come in the next podcast.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, man, we should have totally done one of those.
We
need to write that down. Write that one down.
All right, I'll write it down. Writing. You got it. It's written. And
I'm on the stream, dude. I can tell you're not doing it.
And so it was written. I think for me, the one good drunk story is I was living in Portland at the time, and I was out with some friends of my sister's, so I didn't really know them that well. And there were like a lot of chicks there, and I was really drunk. We'd all had a night out. It was one of those situations where I'd already drank enough that I puked. And so I puked that night, and that story is crazy. Because that was that one was at a gay bar that I'd never really been to before, but they were huge there. And I went there, and
They were huge there?
Yes, painfully huge there. And one of her friends kept feeding me more and more alcohol, and eventually I had my fill.
You, huh?
Yeah, okay. I had my fill, and I moved on to the men's restroom. And I went into the restroom, and in the men's restroom, there are, at least when I was there, maybe I was just too drunk to realize it, but there were only stalls and then a huge trough that you could go in. So there were no urinals, and there were no stalls. There was only the trough. That was the problem. So I was like, no stalls? Maybe I was just too drunk to notice, but I just went to one of the troughs, and there's literally people standing next to me, by the way, doing, you could probably guess. And I just puked a whole huge pile of nachos into it. And it was all over, just terrible. And then I got up and, washed my hands, and, the nicest guy just goes, hey, hon, you got some puke on your shirt. And I was like, oh, thanks. And so, I wiped that off. So after that, so I'd already puked at this point. After that, we went to one of her friend's houses, my sister's friend's houses, and they had Just Dance going on there. And there were a bunch of girls playing. I was like, dude, I could probably kick some ass at this. So I jumped in there and just owned them, destroyed these girls at Just Dance. And apparently, because what I always heard was that when guys can dance really well, it's like a huge turn on. But maybe Just Dance, just dancing well, is not a turn on because they all abandoned me immediately. And just want to stay as far away from me for the rest of the night as possible. And it's just like...
Well, I can probably shed some light there. It's because there's a rating system and you beat them at an activity they're supposed to be good at.
Gotcha.
Oh, God.
So that was my very, very awkward experience with alcohol.
So I have two. One's short, one's a little bit longer. The shorter one was I was a newly 21-year-old kid, and I was living with my at the time girlfriend, and she was gone or something like that, and doing God knows what. And I was like, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3's out. I want to play. I just want to have a day to myself, a night to myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to get drunk today. So I went ahead and this is different from the one I told you guys. I went and I got Jack Daniels, and I was like, I forgot a chaser. I'd already drove back home, and I was like, oh, man, I forgot a chaser. So I looked through cabinets trying to find something, and I was like, you probably work with anything, really. And I still live by this mentality to this day, by the way. You can use anything as a chaser. And except I fucked up this time. I was like, you know what my chaser is going to be? Kool Aid. So I made a whole batch of Kool Aid, and I'm black, so I need a lot of sugar in my Kool Aid. So I was like, this is gonna be the best Kool Aid ever. And it's 7 cups later, it's done. And I'm like, all right, cool. This Kool Aid's super sweet, and it's gangster.
Super sweet.
Justin, I do want to. I just not to cut you off too much, but I want to let you know that some people when I show them the show, they're like, and I go oh, and for whatever reason we come up with the fact that you're black. They're like, I didn't even realize he was black. I think you just cleared up any confusion just now.
Well, I've also heard the same thing of he's Mexican.
Right. People don't realize I'm Mexican because I'm so pale.
Well, and the good thing is I'm very flexible as far as races. So, right now, my girlfriend, who just happens to be white, her parents know that she's in good hands because I look white.
Yeah.
But anyway.
he seems responsible.
Right. He seems like a good guy. He's not Tyrone down the street. No, but seriously, so I got, I had a whole crap ton of sugar in this stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. So what ends up happening is I start drinking, and I start, if anyone who's played Marvel, the mentality is the same as that of League of Legends. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'll take you, dog. Let's go. It's really hostile. Mm-hmm. And it's really easy to let a loss bother you, especially because that game doesn't let you move if you're getting beat up really bad. So I'm playing this guy, and I'm playing with a little bit more of a humble, honest team. And this guy's playing with he had Wesker, he had whatever. He had a lot of good characters based off of pros and how they played these characters, right? Mm-hmm. Completely same as League. And I was going back and forth with this guy. He'd take a round, I'd take a round, he'd take a round, I'd take a round. Well, the whole time I'm drinking Jack Daniels straight, and then I'm chasing it with Kool Aid. And I remember, I don't know what happened. The urge just came over, and I just upchucked so hard all over her freaking coffee table and everything. And I was like, no! And then I was like, it was all gone. It was just a shotgun blast of just stuff that just came out of my mouth. And I was like,
what did it look like?
Unreal. It was red.
Wait, was it red Kool Aid?
Yeah, it was red. It was red Kool Aid.
Gosh.
So it was red foamy liquid, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm like, I need to go. So I turned off my Xbox. And I don't think I got hate mail for it, but I was just like, I bet you sent me something. And I blacked out that night. Woke up next to the toilet.
Did anybody ask you what that noise was on Xbox?
No, I don't play with my mic on.
Oh right, I remember that now.
Yeah, I don't like to play with my mic on. The other story, this one's like super quick. So I was recently single Marine from that girlfriend that I was telling you about, and I was living in the barracks, and a friend of mine who lived next door to me, it was like, hey, you want to come over and play some video games and stuff? I was like, yeah, sure. Well, apparently there's a little bit of a party. So I was already drinking in my room, and I came to her room, and she's like, have you ever had Hennessy before? I was like, no, I haven't. And she's like, have that. And I was like, all right, cool. And she's like, have you ever had Ciroc? No, I've never have. Here, have that. And she's like, have you ever had Jack Daniel's, like, honey version or whatever? And I was like, no, I haven't. She's like, have it. So I've been drinking all these 3 different drinks, all the while playing Super Smash Brothers Brawl, which I did not like. And I was like, I'm losing my nonsense. Let's just put that out there. It wasn't my fault. And I remember I was eating sunflower seeds, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I was playing here and there, but I was eating these sunflower seeds. And I remember, like, all right, I got to go. I'll see you guys later. I walked back to the room. Bam, woke up the next day. I had no idea what happened. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, it's just covered in barf here. And I'm like, who threw up? So I wake up my roommate. I'm like, yo, you need to fix this shit. He's like, dude, like, what are you talking about? He's like, I have not. I went straight to my room, like, right when I went to sleep, because we share a bathroom. And what's it called? I was in one of the nicer barracks. And I was like,
bragging.
I was like, there's no flipping way, dude. That had to have been you. So then I go back in there, and I'm like, fine, I'll start cleaning it up, right? It's disgusting. And I look at it, I'm like, these are sunflower seed shells.
And this
Apparently
is Kool-Aid.
I was eating, yeah. No.
There's Kool-Aid everywhere.
I was eating the sunflower seeds straight. I wasn't even
Oh,
breaking
you
them
were
off.
Oh.
I was just eating them. So
doesn't that get like stuck in your? So doesn't it get stuck in your gums when you do that?
Oh, I guess not. I upchucked them all. So gums, intestines, all that stuff. I was freaking safe. So yeah, it's kind of disgusting, but hey,
that sounds painful.
Oh, it was. I don't remember it, but I can just imagine being like I had no aim. I shot every which way, and it was disgusting because I had to clean it up. So I was like, oh man, I must. And it was more than I'd ever barfed in my life. But,
it smells nasty.
It smells nasty.
Yeah.
I have 3 short stories. One of them, we'll go chronologically here.
To show that he's never grown up yet.
18, was playing Double Dash with my girlfriend and her 2 hot friends. And they were like, well, let's have a drinking party. And mind you, none of them play video games. Like if phone video games existed back then, that's the extent of them being gamers. They'd be playing like Candy Crush right now. Probably are, wherever they are. So I had the GameCube over at my girlfriend's house, and I was playing like Fire Emblem or something like that on it. And she was like, "You have that Mario Kart game? Let's invite over these 2 girls, and let's play Double Dash." And I was like, "All right, cool." So we played Double Dash, and the whole time I was so like focused on beating their asses in this game that I didn't realize that the 3 of them were in their bikinis the whole time, and there was a pool in the backyard. I failed to realize and capitalize.
Oh yeah, what they were. The point was, they're probably even told that going forward, like going into it, like, hey, we're just gonna go have a little pool party.
And we ended up playing video games instead of going to the backyard. And mind you, I also went and got us booze from one of my friends. He gave us a bunch of booze, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Oh, having a video game party." And he's like, "With a bunch of Smirnoff?" And I was like, "Yeah, Smirnoff Ice." And he was like, "With a bunch of Smirnoff Ice?" I was like, "Yeah, it's for the girls." And he's like, "You have chicks playing video games with you?" And I was like,
"Yeah,
my girlfriend and her 2 friends." And he's like, "Can I come?" I was like, "They don't know you, man. That'd be a little weird. We're all 17, 18, and you're 20, over 21.
Oh, God.
Dude, and he still gave you the beer?
No.
I would have withheld that beer. I would have been like,
oh, that. Yeah.
Hey, you. Yeah.
It was already in my trunk. You couldn't do anything. I was bigger.
Gotcha.
So that failed to capitalize on 3 hot chicks in bikinis. I chose to play Mario Kart Double Dash.
That's a good trade-off.
Yeah. Next one also involves a chick. I'm at a hookah lounge. I'm like 22. And I'm hungover from the day drinking we were doing. Like it's that day drink, it's that hangover that you get without even going to sleep. Like you drank so much that day that you just skipped the sleep and went into the hangover. We're at a hookah lounge. They don't serve alcohol. And I'm kind of like my friend's like instigator. Like I'm the social one. So I'll hop up and they'll be like, dude, let's go talk to those girls over there. What should we say? Blah, blah, blah. I'll just walk over and be like, hey, what's up? And that's it. And just continue conversations from there. So they were all trying to figure out how to talk to this girl and her friends across the hookah lounge. And I walked over and I was like, hey, I see you guys are smoking hookah in a hookah lounge. We're over there smoking hookah in a hookah lounge. You should move over. And they're like, okay, sure. And just give us a couple minutes. So I walked over, I laid down, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to sleep. So I lay back. And I start hearing the girls come over. Like it was like 5-10 minutes afterwards. They come over, and my buddy's all excited, and he sits next to the girl he wants to talk to. And she says a quote from a video game that you had to play the game to know that it was a quote from that game. She made a comment like, what is this, Goldshire? And I kind of like...
Goldshire? That's that's Warcraft. That's in World of Warcraft. It's
a World of Warcraft
Stormwind, right?
Yeah, it's a starting zone in Stormwind. She was basically calling people around her noobs in a nerdy, stupid way.
Damn, dog, don't be nice.
Yeah,
that's an ex-girlfriend. I don't have to be nice.
Okay, then.
So she made a comment, and then I ended up perking my ears up because I'm like, World of Warcraft, that's my game. And she ended up moving from, as soon as I acknowledged that I knew the game, she got up and left my friend, and my friend and I ended up fighting for like a year about this chick. So, yeah.
Oh, dude, you're destroying the topic for next week.
What's the topic for next week?
Douchiest moments.
Douchiest moments. Oh,
but it's also like really bad too, because I do feel kind of bad.
Kinda. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's how you're supposed to feel, right?
A little bit.
So then my last bad drunk experience. This one's recently. It was a month ago. Hammered drunk, had a house party. Everyone took off. It was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And it was the morning that Zur pops up. So I was like, oh shit, Zur's here, man. And I'm drunk off my ass. And I'm like, I need to go see what he's selling.
That's in Destiny, right?
Destiny, yes. Yeah. So I'm playing Destiny on my PS4. And I'm running over to go find Zur. And I can't find him. I'm so drunk, I forgot what I was trying to do. And I ended up organizing my bank. Because the one thing with Destiny is you have your overall bank, and then you have your characters like bag slots, and the bank is shared across all your characters. I was getting so fucking confused as to who had my strange coins, who had my motes of light. Did he have 2, and then this person had 20? Who has what? Apparently, and mind you, I was blackout drunk at this point. That was the last part I remember. I woke up the next morning. All of my shaders were on one character. All of my materials, like that you go find for crafting and upgrading stuff, were all on one character. All of my rare items were on another character. All my exotics were on one of those characters. All my legendaries, assault rifles were on. I had like this organizing system, and it was like beautiful. And I was like, wow, I was actually logical. I couldn't find my fucking strange coins, and I know I had like 100. Apparently, I fucking dismantled like half of my resources because I was just trying to move them around. Like they just disappeared the next morning. It's probably the shittiest drunk moment that I ever had. And if you play Destiny, you know how many hours you had to put in to find that kind of crap.
That's a weird one. Yeah, maybe you're like an idiot savant when you're drunk. You just have all these like... No, that's a term. Idiot savant. It means like you're not supposed to be good at something, but for whatever reason, you're like the best.
Amazing.
Wow.
So like the concept of a drunken master.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe you need to drink more to when you need to organize. Just do something with your strange points before you.
Just hide all the valuables.
Yeah, hide the valuables. Let him do his work. Let drunk Eric take over. Cool.
He's just not controllable. You can't send him in a direction. He goes everywhere. There's no place he won't go.
Gotcha. Well, that's it for the gross. That's it for the podcast. Hopefully you had a good time.
I feel like you know too much about me now.
Right. My secrets. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Make sure to... I'm Spencer.
I'm not. And that's Eric.
I get so confused when you do that.
I'll take over.
Yeah.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on This Is The Itch at Twitch. Or on twitch.tv/This Is The Itch. And also on Did You Know Gaming. No, I'm kidding. Does This Game Suck? I wish it was Did You Know Gaming. Does This Game Suck.com?
Yeah.
/The
The Itch.
We should be posting this on iTunes as well. Check us out there. We release this every Friday. So enjoy it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Enjoy it. And if you watch it now, you're getting it on
a week early.
earlier.
Yeah.
You're getting it on early.
Yep. All right. So have a great day, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.